calm beach day for a child in love with nature sounds like a dream, but for 7-year-old Hunter and his father, this restful day turned into a nightmare that left them both running away for their lives. And suppose that isn't enough to make you rethink whenever you head to the beach. In that case, this story is followed by a scientific discovery that took an ugly turn and uncovered a dark secret in Antarctica's depths. When Hunter's father decided to treat the 7-year-old to a beach day in the middle of summer, the young boy was ecstatic. But as they rushed to pack supplies for the day, the duo had no idea what awaited them. Excited at the prospect of collecting seashells and building sandcastles, the curious child was buzzing with energy. But of course, Hunter's father was looking forward to relaxing after a tough week at work. The 7-year-old father knew about his son's deep desire to explore nature. Hunter had always been intrigued by it and always was ready to spend hours finding new plants, insects, and more. The young boy had a natural knack for exploring the wild, and of course his parents fully supported him. But this day, Hunter's curiosity takes an ugly turn and ends up with both father and son fighting to keep themselves together and authorities intervening immediately. It all started rather beautifully with Hunter's father lounging on a blanket and soaking up the sun, and the 7-year-old excitedly building sandcastles on his own. Hunter was utterly engrossed in the various shells scattered around the beach and used them to decorate his elaborate sandcastle. After that, the duo went snorkeling together and had a light-packed lunch. After all that activity, Hunter's father was utterly exhausted, but of course the young boy had all the energy in the world. Wanting to relax some more, Hunter's father allowed the young boy to explore the beach on his own. Hunter excitedly ran straight into the waves and began searching the ground for more seashells. He found the usual snails, crabs, and driftwood until he noticed a bright flash of blue in the middle of a strong wave. Then, of course, the 7-year-old was instantly drawn to this thing that looked unlike anything he had ever seen. Hunter inched loser with insatiable curiosity. It could be a unique stone, seashell, or even a rare blue crab. But as he walked deeper and deeper into the ocean, the young boy had no idea that he was getting closer to danger. Relaxing on a lounge chair, Hunter's father could still spot his son, and while Hunter had swam further into the ocean than he had advised, the father stayed calm since the sea was steady. If only Hunter's father knew his son was inches away from a near-death experience. The 7-year-old excitedly swam closer to the blue thing. At first he thought it might even be trash, but a closer look confirmed it was alive. The blue creature had long tendrils, and to the young mind of the 7-year-old, it looked more like an alien than something that belonged this close to a public beach. But despite his father having told him several times not to touch any animal, Hunter did precisely that. He slowly used a finger to poke the blue creature, and instantly it began to squirm erratically. A startled Hunter jumped back into the water, making a big splash. All the commotion should have made the creature run away, but when the water calmed down, Hunter saw that it was still there. With adrenaline coursing through his veins, the young boy swam back to the shore and hurriedly looked for the shovel and bucket he was using to build his sandcastle. Hunter's father tried to talk to him and ask him what he had found, but the 7-year-old was in too much of a hurry to answer. It was only after a few minutes that Hunter came back, struggling to lift the heavy bucket on his own, that his father jumped back in horror and realized what his son had been doing all along. Hunter had managed to capture this strange blue creature. Hunter's father quickly pushed his son away from the bucket. Whatever it was, it looked dangerous and not something his 7-year-old son should be playing with. While the father wanted Hunter to release the creature back, he worried that it might end up hurting someone else. However, this was a beach that young kids regularly frequented, so the father decided to find more information about the strange creature. He searched online for something that looked similar, and despite Hunter screaming that he had caught an alien, the first search result showed the truth. It was a blue dragon slug and was known to be highly toxic. These sea slugs can sting anyone when they feel threatened with just one touch. Hunter's father was horrified that his son had not only touched such a deadly creature, but was excitedly holding him in a bucket inches away from his face. After his quick search, he called the local authorities, and as he explained what had happened, he was given an earful. It turns out the local sheriff had already announced a warning for the area and had urged people not to visit the beach until it had been cleared. Hunter's father had not bothered with reading about the warning and had taken Hunter into a dangerous area. This also explained why the usually busy beach was practically empty that day. The sheriff told Hunter's father to thank his lucky stars that his son came out unscathed, as the blue dragon sea slug was known to be deadly. While a child finding a strange creature is expected, sometimes even scientists, with all their knowledge and research, end up stumbling into mysterious discoveries that they cannot explain or understand. That happened to geologist James Smith from the British Antarctic Survey, who made an unexpected discovery while living in Antarctica. He had no idea that tucked under half a mile of solid ice, he would find a creature that would leave him frantically running for his life. Living in a research center might sound adventurous, but the days were long and grueling for Smith and his team. First, they had to melt tons of snow for their research and spent their free time melting more snow for food and shelter. Every day, Smith and his team spent 20 hours just melting snow, and while they had never uncovered anything unexpected during their month-long expedition, that was all about to change. Instead, their sole purpose was to take sediment samples, and part of that process involved them drilling holes in the ice shelf and taking pictures of the inside with a GoPro. They had done this countless times, but during a routine drilling session, one of the teammates jumped back when he looked at the GoPro footage. Hidden beneath 3,000 feet of ice was a strange rock-colored lump. While that doesn't sound jarring, considering that the team was drilling thousands of miles away from any wildlife and even rocks, this strange lump was unexpected, and a closer look revealed that it wasn't a lump at all. It was a living thing, and the probability of finding it was 1 in a million. The scientists did the math. Moreover, the lump was a sessile, an organism that couldn't move. But it wasn't supposed to be anywhere near this site. Sessile need a steady supply of marine snow as food, and like all living things, also need water. Unfortunately, both of those were not found where the team was digging, so it was extraordinary to see this creature buried deep beneath the ice. Away from any possible sunlight, it was a complete miracle that this sessile was not only alive, but thriving in such a hostile environment. But of course, the scientists couldn't just leave this question unanswered. The team refocused their entire study to determine what the sessile was doing in that area. After intense research, they discovered that the food source they thought was moving horizontally through the snow was going vertically. This meant that organic matter floated over 930 miles away, thus keeping the sessile alive. An utterly incidental finding helped researchers learn more about the diverse and often secretive ecosystem of the Antarctic.